Beloveds, blessed Samhain week to you. It's the witchy new year. It is the deep, dark chill of autumn. It is the time of letting go and slowing down and dropping in. And in this time, we are invited to divine, to the divine of what we are, to using ourselves to divine what's next. And so we visited a lot of different practices the other night, and I want to just give you a few more little tidbits that maybe you can touch in with this week before we meet again next week. So it may be that you're having decisions, choices. I like to say choices rather than decisions. Decisions feel so final. And most often, we're able to make choices where we can choose and then choose again if that doesn't feel so good. Some things, after all, are decisions. Those can be harder. Either way, these practices can be helpful. So I want to speak first about Pratibha. Pratibha is the yogic phrase that means intuition, like psychic intuition or embodied intuition, body knowing, and animal instinct, body knowing in a different way. And actually, with that animal instinct, I have this little pause that I want to make because I'm reading this book that's called Body Sense. And it talks about how at one time, without testing water or testing the earth or without, the meteorologist on TV, we knew whether or not the water was good to drink by the smell, by our senses. We knew whether or not a drought was coming or a rainy season was coming and what to do to prepare for that. And so these things are still accessible to us. They can feel further away with all of the busyness. And that is why we began last night's session. And I would recommend beginning any divining session with some free form movement, stretching out, shaking out, or maybe after a massage or something else that just kind of peels away the layers that we're often wearing. We're often wearing like a social mask and, maybe some guarding at our heart or our diaphragm or our belly. And when we have these things on that are modern culture or work or other relationships, whatever it might be, cause us to engage, well, we want to take those off so that we can be our receptive, intuitive self when we are attempting to go into the sensitive body. We want to move away the things that are guarding our sensitivity. So maybe pause this video now and shake out and do some free form movement, or maybe you go to the other video that will be there about intuitive movement. And once you're done, come on back. So, Pratibha, tuning in to the knowing that is beyond words. In yoga, we're invited to do this in meditation, which is done after the physical practice. We just spoke about why. And in meditation or in the meditative state, we open ultimately to just whatever wants to drop in. And in true meditation, we're not trying not to think, and we're not even doing like japa mantra or focus on a flame or anything, even the breath. We're in open awareness. So most of the meditation techniques that are taught are actually focus techniques, which are awesome and necessary. So focusing on the breath, focusing on mantra, focusing on an image, a mandala or something. And these things can be very, really helpful. And then after that, once we train our mind how to focus, how to have a relative stillness, then we get more and more able to just drop in, to open awareness, to being able to sense, the thought of like, oh, I forgot to, and let it go. Unless it was like turn the oven off or something or pick up the kid. Thank you, brain. Probably only coming back, because you took a moment to pause and what's really important will rise up, as well as sometimes what is just not very important. Like, boy, I have a great idea for, oh, that's great. Write it down. Maybe just write it down and put it aside. Pausing in spaciousness is a great time, again, for that creative inspiration to arise. So I encourage you to be with that if that's your goal, is for creative inspiration. Otherwise, ultimately, we sit in open awareness, and often the answers to things will arise. So this is the space, that spaciousness is where the Pratibha arises. And when we're trying to stop things or figure things out, this is blocking, this is busyness instead of spaciousness. So looking for spaciousness. There is a story about, I'm pretty sure it's Da Vinci, but it could have been Michelangelo or some other Italian guy in a tower. I really can't honestly say that I remember, but one of my teachers told me a story about this very creative inventor sort of person from way back. That's why I think it's Da Vinci, who's had a practice of taking naps with a ball in his hand in a chair. So sitting in a chair, taking a nap with the ball, so that in that space that we call yoga nidra, just between sleeping and dreaming, in that spaciousness there where the conscious mind is finally quieted, and before we go into the surreal world of dreams, and that spaciousness is said where we can access everything we've ever learned or experienced, which, most of the time those things are hard to learn, or remember. And this is why also meditating before a test or something can be important, or creating a sense of spaciousness, because we are, blocking it with our worry, with our concern, with our trying to remember. And so the practice is to open, because it's all there. Everything we've ever seen or experienced is cataloged in the brain for safety. And so how can we go about really slowing down and creating spaciousness, opening to the spaciousness that is awaiting? So that's one, is the taking a nap with the ball in the hand, so that when you're just in that sweet edge and you drop out a little bit, that the ball will drop out and fall. And when it does, you wake up. And the story is that instantly he would know the answer to all these super challenging problems he was posing for himself in this creation world. So there's one. Try it, report back if you will. And now I would like to offer you also a landscape meditation, if you will. This is from my teacher, Harish Wallace. I can't tell you where he got it from, because I'm not sure he told me. But yeah, when you're trying to make a choice about something, when you're trying to make a choice or a decision, one way to do that, one thing to do to tap into your inner knowing that is beyond words, is to close your eyes once you've got, your body at ease. Let's do this now. Have an easy seat. Have your body all wiggled out so you don't have to think about the body for a bit. And close your eyes and imagine a great landscape before you. This could be like a great open field or a gently rolling hillside. You don't want to have any particular feature point of interest, but more like an open landscape. Something lovely that's inviting but not distracting. And then if you have two choices, that's what we're going to work with in this one. We'll imagine your two choices on the far ends of this landscape picture that you're holding. And imagine into these two choices there. And then feel your body. Notice if there's any little pull. Feel your breath or see the image in your mind. Is one more lit up? Is there more of a physical or energetic pull towards one? We want to notice even the most subtle pulses, the impulses or sensations that come before words. And when you feel it, don't question it with words. Try to keep words out of this. And then we're going to do it again. So if there's like a light source in the space that you're in coming more from one direction or the other, then maybe reorient your body in the room. And again, pause to hold the landscape in your inner view. You could put your choices in different sides or do what feels right. Imagine into both of those choices. Just see where you're drawn to walk into your landscape. Where are you drawn to go? Is there a pull in the body? Is there any kind of light or quickening in one of those directions? So there's that one, the landscape meditation. Of course, you could pause this and continue. I just want to speak a little bit to what happens when we get intuition, when we have the knowing that's beyond words. Like often we'll feel like, ooh, that's the thing. And then our brain will go, oh, but no, it's at the wrong time. It's too expensive. We don't really like that person who's doing it, or, whatever. There's all these stories, or like, but am I sure? Because this other one has da 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 da. And, making um, choices based on all the thoughts in the brain. Um, the truth is that we cannot question intuition. It'll just go silent. As soon as we start questioning with words, we're working with ego, we're working with rational mind. So it's okay to do that, make a list of pros and cons, see what makes sense there for you. Make a list of the why nots and then the gratitudes or the positives about that, and see how all that balances out in points or whatever you want to use. But as soon as that pratibha arises, as soon as we begin to put words to it, it begins to dissolve and pull back. There are different parts of the brain. So practice being in the pratibha. Even it is said that awakening happens in these moments when we allow ourselves to be in, to immerse samavesha in the experience of wonder, of beauty, such as even like the yum taste of something, or the most gorgeous sunset ever, As soon as we start going, oh my God, it's so beautiful, or oh, this is so delicious, we have taken ourselves out of the possibility there of fully realizing the ecstatic potential of that moment, the awakening potential in that moment, or in the case of Pratibha, the knowing that is beyond words. So I invite you to play with this kind of stuff around things that arise in your life. And yeah, if there are any of the other practices that we did that you really want to touch back into, let me know and I can write things out or make other recordings. But this is just for you for this week, a little add on or a little something, something. If you missed class, we missed you. And yeah, okay, that's it. Namaste. Namago.